temporary registration plates trying to hitch a lift and save your expenses. Knocking back 2 large glugs of his wine, he wipes his mouth with the back of his hand. Well, there's a bit more to it than that, but if you insist on talking in sound bites, then yes, I deliver cars. Ferraris? As I said, occasionally. So why did you describe yourself as Ferrari driving in your ad? He blatantly scowls at me and sits back in his chair with an irritable sigh. Because. He almost spits. That's what you women want, don't you? The waitress appears brandishing 2 steaming plates of food, a pasta primavera for me, a Texan-sized steak and chips for him. Sorry? I persist. Run that by me again. What are you saying we women want? You want men with pots of money and fast cars. You're not interested in anyone ordinary, he states, hacking into his steak and taking a large bite. Ugh! His face screws up in disgust. This is repulsive. This time, the clicking fingers are abandoned in favour of his clapping hands, loud enough for him to attract the attention of just about everyone in the restaurant except the waitress, who's taking a booking on the phone. Anxious at the disruption, the manager scuttles over. Yes, sir. This steak is totally inedible, Graham booms. I can't believe you've had the gall to serve it to me. What's wrong with it, sir? The manager keeps his voice low. Everything. Just bring me one of those, he says dismissively, pointing at my plate of pasta. That is, of course, if the chef can manage not to screw that up too. Grim-faced, the manager scoops up his plate and catches my eye as he turns to walk back to the kitchens. Mortified, I smile apologetically, praying my expression encapsulates the fact that I don't really know this oaf. I'm torn between castigating Graham for his atrocious manners and returning to the patronisingly sexist remark he made shortly before tasting his steak. The former seems too ingrained for change, a lost cause. I have to take issue with your comment that women only want men with money and fast cars, I say quietly. That's grossly inaccurate and unfair. That's like saying all men want stupid women with large breasts. He looks wistful for a moment at the thought. Well, why else are you here? Go on, admit it. The bit about driving a Ferrari made you think I had money. Amazing. I ponder how such a large head can house such a small brain. Actually, it was the good sense of humour bit that caught my eye, I say matter-of-factly, and the fact that you looked very genial in your photograph. I resist the urge to point out that both were woefully wide of the mark. Like a condemned woman approaching the hangman's noose, the waitress hones into view with Graham's pasta, garnished, no doubt, with extra spittle. We lapse into silence, his cement-mixer mouth devouring pasta, me showing fake interest in the painting behind his head. Did that meet with Sir's satisfaction? The manager has reappeared to remove our empty plates. He's looking at Graham with an expression that suggests, "Don't upset me. I'm running out of places to hide the bodies." "It was passable," says Graham, shoving the plate toward him, "but we won't be coming here again." We? I'm damned if I want them thinking we're an item. He's not speaking for both of us, I say chirpily. I'll be back again, definitely. The food was lovely. Thank you, madam. The manager vacates the area, leaving me faced with a glowering Graham. That was rather unnecessary, he says pompously. So was the rude way you spoke to the waitress, I retort, throwing caution to the wind in the sure knowledge this date is in its dying throes. He lets out a long, impatient sigh that suggests he's dealing with a petulant child. Well, this has been a complete waste of time and money, hasn't it? I think we both know we won't be seeing each other again. I nod silently and unhook my handbag from the back of the chair, relieved the charade is over. You may be wondering why I put myself through this experience when I clearly don't have the inclination or indeed the stomach for it. But the fact is, it wasn't my idea. Let me explain. Goodbye, 33. Hello, 34. I can say this quite calmly. So clearly the midlife madness isn't going to strike me down just yet. Maybe next year. So here I am, on my way to my surprise birthday party. organised by my dear friend and fellow TV producer, Tabitha. Except that I know all about it, because my sister Olivia rang to warn me. I shall arrive at the pub where I am supposed to be meeting Tab for a quiet drink, then put on an Oscar-winning performance of shock and delight at seeing the others there too. She leaps to her feet as soon as she sees me. "Hi! Happy birthday!" She envelops me in a hug. "You look great! Come on, I've booked a quiet table for the two of us through here." Leading me by the hand, she guides me through to a small room with a circular table plonked in the middle of it, rather tellingly laid out for several people and decorated with lots of birthday kitsch from the 99-cent store. At one end of the room, there's a dark plum velvet curtain, from which a jewelled mule is protruding, quite obviously. Ta-da! Mule owner Madeline emerges from behind the curtain, tugging it back to reveal my other mystery guests, all chorusing, "Surprise!" "Oh my gosh!" Pulling my best Macaulay Culkin expression, I shriek loudly, then start running up and down on the spot for good measure. Seeing Olivia glaring at my pitiful overacting, I stop immediately. "Wow! You guys really fooled me! I had absolutely no idea!" There follows an excruciating few seconds where they all burst into a half-hearted chorus of happy birthday, an imbroglio of flat notes, high-pitched wailing, and even a moment's hesitation when they clearly forget who they're singing it for. "Thanks," I beam insincerely. "Shall we sit down?" Everyone is jostling for position and opening their napkins. I should take the opportunity to introduce you to a few of the usual suspects. First of all, there's Madeline, my social salvation. That's her sitting directly opposite me, fussing over who wants still and who wants sparkling. She's single too, and consequently, we see an inordinate amount of each other in our quest to find the perfect man. In the meantime, Madeline happily indulges in lots of meaningless flings, not least because she's stunning and slim and a lot more successful at attracting men than I am. She thinks it's every man for herself, and, as a dancer, her ability to lift her leg onto their shoulders in wine bars helps enormously. At the table, she's flanked on either side by Richard and Lars, or Dick and Arse, as I affectionately call them. Richard and I met when we were both TV researchers on Good Morning Britain. He worked in the showbiz department, whilst I was in human interest. You know, those "I had one black twin and one white twin" kind of stories, which are really just car crash viewing, but we have to pretend we're doing a public service by highlighting this problem and run a phone number saying, "If you've had twins that are different colours and would like help, then call this number," blah, blah, blah. Richard has stayed in light entertainment, though he's risen to the lofty heights of a senior producer on the Saturday night game show Till Divorce Do Us Part. His French boyfriend, Lars, a striking 6'3" black man, is one of the dancers who high-kick their way across the studio floor when the contestants win the chance to live happily ever apart. "Here's to Jess! Happy 34th birthday! Cheers!" My sister Olivia raises her champagne glass and takes a swig, and everyone follows suit. Olivia is older by 2 years, and something of a heroine of mine. For as long as I can remember, she has been supportive and caring. Most memorably, when I had nightmares as a child, she would sit and stroke my hair until I drifted back to sleep. The tinny sound of metal cutlery banging against glass drags me out of my nostalgic thoughts. "Shall we do presents?" It's Cara, the friend I have known the longest, but like the least. I can't quite put my finger on what's wrong with my relationship with Cara, but there's definitely an undercurrent of jealousy on her part. It's as if she hangs around only to delight and luxuriate in the bad things that happen to me. It wasn't always like that. When we met at sixth form college, she was a formidable ally and fantastic fun, but over the years her loyalty became questionable and her face increasingly sour. These days, the best way to sum her up is that she's always there when she needs you. Tonight, she has dragged along her boyfriend Dan. He's an amiable enough chap who wombles through life doing no one any harm, but for some reason he's been ensnared by Mrs. Danvers. Cara has already told me he will propose by Christmas, but I'm not sure she's told him that yet.